Awesome. Welcome everyone to day 2 of our summer skills series. Today we will be talking all about Handshake, and it's a really great resource for you all to have during your time as a student, but you also get it forever. So you get it now, but then you can always go back and utilize it even once you graduate. So I'll be walking you through the website. Before we start that, I'll just do some introductions again. So I am Odessa Burkett. I'm one of the assistant directors on the career and professional development team for SBS. And I do a lot of one-on-one appointments, which you make through Handshake. So I'll be going over that today. And I also do a lot of presentations and classes. So it's really great to have you all.
Great. And hi, everyone. My name is Rachel Noto. I'm one of the assistant directors on the SBS Career Team, and I focus primarily on SBS-sponsored career fairs. I also help with the SBS in Boston internship program, and I do host some student appointments as well. So for resumes, cover letters, mock interview prep, and all of those excellent resources that we have for you. So thanks again for joining us today.
Awesome. And then not here today, but also on our team, we have Carol Shark, our director, and Rebecca Bell, our associate director. So you can actually also make appointments with them and meet them as well. All right, so I'm going to stop sharing for just a moment so you can all introduce yourself again. And if possible, if you could, show your video while you introduce yourself, that's awesome. Just kind of helps us get to know you a little bit better. But if you can't do that for any reason, that's also okay. So if you could share your name, your major, class year, and if you could also say if you've used Handshake before, that'd be helpful so I know kind of your level, but it's fine if you haven't. So whoever wants to go first.
Hi, my name is Yang Chen. I'm a rising junior. I'm a communication journalism major, and I have used Handshake before, but it's kind of hard to navigate for me. So I'd like to learn more about that.
Perfect. You're in the right place. Thanks for being here. All right, next.
Hi, I'm Kisan, and I'm majoring in econ, and I have used Handshake before.
Awesome.
Hi, my name's Kiara. I'm going to be a sophomore, and I major in political science. I've briefly looked over Handshake.
Okay, great. So this will be really helpful for everyone just to kind of get a refresher and know where everything is in there, because there's a lot of great things you can utilize within the website, but it is a little bit hard to find things off the bat. And I don't know about you all, but watching tutorials online is not my style. So hopefully this helps a little bit more to get familiar with the website. All right, so I'm going to share my screen again. Okay, so what is Handshake? It's really your free internal resource as a UMass student to look for jobs, to find events that are happening at UMass. Right now, it's a lot of virtual events, but then as we go back in person, there'll also be more in-person events, and that could be with employers. There's also going to be career fairs right in Handshake, and Rachel can talk a little bit about that later. Because we've done some virtual career fairs this past year, but we're actually moving them over to the Handshake platform, which is really great because that means it's all in one place. So you don't have to learn a whole other platform again. And so if you all have LinkedIn, there's a portion of Handshake that's similar to that, where you create your own profile, you have your picture up there, you have what you're interested in, what you're studying, as well as your experiences. And employers can actually find you through that profile if you make it public. And so that's why you want to have a really good profile. So you can make that public. And then often, students get messages from employers themselves saying, I've seen your profile, looks really great. You should apply to our opportunity. So you can actually be notified from employers about opportunities that way. And then also within Handshake is where you will make career counseling appointments with myself, for anyone on our team. So it's right within there. And then also you can, just look for internships, look for jobs. If you ever want to do an internship for credit, that's through Handshake. So it's really like a one-stop shop for so many different things within the career world. So now I'm just gonna jump right into the site itself so we can actually see it as I go through it. I do have a whole slide deck with, all the directions of how to get through things, which we can send out to you. So you can just have that in your back pocket if you need a refresher. But let's just jump right into the site. Okay, so here is kind of the main page of the Handshake site after I've already logged in. It sounds like you all said you have logged in at least once. So when you first log in, it actually walks you through a prompt to pick your preferences, to fill in your profile, to put in what you're looking for. So maybe that's an internship right now, or will be an internship that you're looking for soon. As you become a senior, that's going to change, right? That's going to become full-time job that you might be looking for. And also, we all know through our time at college, through our journey, your interests might change as well. So that's always something to think about, because there is a place where you can put in your career interests. And those are going to evolve also. So that's something to just keep in mind is, you can jump into Handshake today, put in a lot of your information, but know that it's always going to evolve and you're going to update it as you go, just like you would a resume. Okay, so let's jump in. All right, so if I go over here to my little face, I can click on my profile. And I'll admit my profile is not full because I'm not a student right now. So this is kind of a dummy site for me. I usually use the other side, the admin side, as a career counselor. So mine's actually not full, but for you, you will want to have this completely filled out. And so I'm actually going to show you an example of a really great one that's filled out by one of our students. So first, I just want to mention you should definitely have a photo. It really helps to have a photo in there so that people can see who you are, especially we've been all virtual for over a year now. It's really nice to just see a face, really see that this is a person on the other side of the screen, and employers really like that. So definitely adding a headshot there. iPhones or your camera phone are great these days. So you can really just have a friend do that with a blank, wall behind you, and that can work fine as your headshot. Put on like a nice plain top and you're good to go. So if I go down, you can see right here that you can actually discover students. And right here that's popping up are students from all over the country, because a lot of schools use Handshake, not just UMass, which is really great because that means a lot of employers use Handshake too and are posting on there. So you can see students from all over. But if I go right here to discover students across the Handshake network, I can bring up even more. You'll see, University of Alabama, Wake Forest, but I like to look at UMass students because that's kind of our community. So I click right here, University of Massachusetts Amherst only. And then it'll come up with all students that are currently at UMass or have just graduated. So if we go to Shelby's profile here, she has a really great filled out profile. You can see she has a nice picture there. You can see her face well. The beginning of her profile, it says exactly, who she is, what she's looking for. Hello, I'm a junior looking for opportunities to expand my expertise with using my learned knowledge in psychology and sociology. I'm always looking for new pathways to learn new skills. Right off the bat, when you read that profile, it really stands out. You can kind of feel a little bit of her interests, her personality comes through. And so that's really what you want with your profile. And then as you go down, she has her education section filled out, when she's going to graduate, majors, and then her different experiences. So work and volunteer experience. her internship that she's involved in, as a teaching assistant. So really, you can think of this as an active resume. And you can actually upload a resume through Handshake. So you can see she has a lot of experience. She even has her extracurriculars all in there, and then has even included courses that she's taken. So there's a lot that you can add here on your profile. And what's going to help you fill that out is actually uploading a resume. So again, I'm going over to my little picture here in the right top corner. And if you go to my documents, that's going to be where you would upload your resume. And so uploading a resume will help fill out the profile because it's going to be a lot of the same information. However, I do want to note that you can easily apply to a lot of things in Handshake using this resume that you've uploaded. However, we really don't recommend just using the same resume to apply to every job. So although it can be really convenient once your resume is in here to just use that one over and over again, before applying to a position, an internship, you really want to think about, have I tailored my resume to that position? Am I really speaking to my audience? And we're going to go all over resumes tomorrow in depth. But I just really want to note that because there is a quick apply with the resume in there on Handshake. But you really want to think, is this the resume for this job that I'm applying to each time? So just to note that. Okay, so like I mentioned, when you first log in for your very first time, it walks you through what your preferences and career interests are. But like I said, that's going to change, right? That's going to evolve. So I wanted to show you where you would change that when it does change. And that's right over here, again, top right corner. And then you go to My Career Interests. And so here will take me to the screen where I can update all of my interests. So like I mentioned, right now it might be that you're looking for an internship, and then that could change to full-time job. So just making sure that this is up to date as you go, because this whole website works on algorithms. So they are, seeing what you've selected and then putting those opportunities in front of you based on what you've selected here, as well as what you're clicking on, what jobs you're favoriting, what employers you're following. So everything you do on Handshake is information that they're using to give you even better searches. So basically that means the more you use it, the better it's going to work for you. So again, you can fill out, what you're looking for, what types of roles you're interested in. So you might have something really specific that you want to do, like, you want to be a business analyst or something like that, or you might not really know and be open to a lot of things. And either one is fine because you can add as many interests as you want or as little as you want. So you can really make it your own. You can add location or multiple locations if there's multiple cities that you might be interested in. And then down here are all the different industries that you could imagine. And you can select as many as you want. So you can see even here, I have some, in media and marketing, arts and entertainment, human resources. So you can really get specific or keep it broad and select anything that you might be interested in, because as we know, a lot of the SBS majors, you can really apply them to so many different jobs and careers and industries. So that's a real advantage that you have, is that you're not kind of pigeonholed into one career. You can use your degree for so many different things. So yeah, we really encourage you to explore and see what you're interested in. And then there's job functions, what interests you. So tons of information that they can get about you based on what you select here. And then when you expect to graduate, and that could change too. So just making sure that you update that if it does change. Okay, I've thrown a lot of information out so far, so let's pause for a second and see if there's any questions. Any questions or feedback from your own experience?
You can also feel free to utilize the chat feature as well during the presentation, just to take note of that. And I think you may have touched upon this, Odessa, already. It's something that's really unique, again, about Handshake, is that all of these employers, we actually have to accept them to join our Handshake network. So what that means is they're expressing high interest in hiring UMass students. So it's not just your typical job search platform where there's a lot of companies out there and a lot of applicants. These employers are actively hiring for college students. So that's what makes this so unique. And also, you know, as Odessa just goes through how to set up your profile, that's something that you'll want to do to prepare for our virtual career fair, which we'll talk a little bit more about towards the end of this week too. But these recruiters that are going to be attending, they're going to be looking through your profile, and they want to make sure you have your resume up to date and your preferences as to what types of jobs you're looking for. So everything that Odessa just went through is really important to have prepared for the fall semester.
Great, thank you, Rachel. And that's a good segue to go over to the job section of Handshake, and we can actually look at how would you search for opportunities that you might be interested in. So you can see my cursor here is in the top left corner, and I'm going to click on jobs, and it's just called jobs, but this is also where you would look for internships. So let's do an example with one of you. Are any of you looking for a job or an internship right now?
I am.
Great. And what type of internship are you looking for?
Like a part-time internship.
Okay, part-time. And any specific industry or job function that you'd prefer?
Probably journalism.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so here I would type in, I'll just start with journalism. And then as you can see here on the right-hand side, there's more filters and selections that I can make. So you said internship, so I'll want to select that so that it doesn't come up with full-time jobs. And then you said part-time, so I'll also select that. And then you can also see there's additional filters. So if you only want one that's paid, you know, there are paid and unpaid internships, you can select that. If there's really specific job titles or roles, such as editor or analyst, you can also add that industry. Or if there's a specific employer you really wanted to work for, you could also select that. So you can see there's a lot of preferences that you can even more tailor down that search to get it really specific. But let's just start with journalism, internship, part-time, and see what comes up. So we can see communication and journalism internship, part-time. Now this is in New York City. So that might be something that you're open to, it might not. That might be where you want to take this location tab and change it, right? So maybe you only want Boston, or is there a specific location you're looking for?
No.
No? Okay, let's just leave it open then. So you'll see the results, right? You'll see some different opportunities come up. And I will say right now, a lot of internships are more flexible to remote. So sometimes there'll be a location, but you can also really read the job posting to see if it says, you know, it's currently remote or open to remote work, because that's something we're going to be seeing a lot more of, even as we go back, you know, in person at UMass and in different places. A lot of employers are becoming more open to remote work and remote internships. So that's something to always think about as well. So you can see here, right on Handshake, it's going to give you what the role description is. It says it's for students junior or senior year. So really reading through the job description is very important, because sometimes there's additional information and you want to make sure that before you apply, you're eligible in every way. They're not, you know, looking for a certain major, a certain year. So just really reading through what they're looking for, what the job entails, right? Am I interested in this job? Is this something that excites me that I want to do? That's really important. So seeing what the overview is, what the responsibilities and duties are of the job, so what you'd be doing while you're there. And then the qualification section, that's a really important section that you really want to articulate these qualifications in your application materials. So, they just have 3 right here, but that means these 3 are really important to the position. So the qualifications are more what they want you to have coming into the job, whereas the responsibilities and duties, a lot of that specific type of work, you'll be learning on the job. It is an internship. You are there to learn these skills. So really, for this one, you'd want to focus on your writing and editing skills. If you have any experience with PR planning, as well as copywriting, marketing, PR, communications. And so that's even preferred, right? So you see that word means they would like it, but it's not, if you don't have it, it doesn't mean you're immediately not going to be considered. So yeah, there's a lot of information that is here. It'll even tell you how well you match the candidate preferences based on your preferences. So that profile that you filled out, those career interests that you filled out, it'll see like, are they looking for someone who has a GPA that you have, the major that you have? And so really reading through this is great. And then you can see here, you can actually save the job. So this little tag here means I would save the job so then I can come back to it later. And so that's a really important feature to know about, because sometimes you'll be looking through lots of different opportunities. And I know I'm someone who usually has like 100 tabs up at the top of my computer, which is one way to do it, but you all know your computer can just decide to restart randomly sometimes and can lose all those tabs. So saving it within Handshake is really good, that you know exactly where it's going to be. And if I go over here to the saved section right after job, it'll be in my save section. So I can always come back to it. But then also, in addition, when you're saving jobs, the algorithm is understanding that too. So it's saying, oh, okay, you're interested in journalism internships. I'm going to show you more journalism internships in the future. So that's another reason that saving it is good. Let's go back to these filters. And then you'll see, application deadline. So this one's going to be open for a long time, I guess. And also this apply button here. So if I click apply, now, sometimes it's going to say apply, and sometimes it will say apply externally, which means that it's going to take you to the actual website of the organization. I always recommend going to the organization's website either way, just to see if there's any additional information that they have there. I feel like Handshake is a great place to look for the jobs because it's all in one place. It's all aggregated. There's these awesome filters you can use. But then when you really find an opportunity that you're interested in, that you're excited about, doing that extra due diligence to look on the organization's website, see if there's more information about their internship program or their hiring process and what they're about, right? Like, what's the organization about? What's their mission, their values? That's a really great extra step to do. So you can see here, they're making it really easy just to, if I had my resume uploaded, I could just click apply. But that's where you really want to think about, is my resume good to go for this particular opportunity for journalism internships, or do I need to update it? You can upload a new one that might be more specific to the position, and you can apply through Handshake. So that's one example. Let's see if I can find one that says the apply externally as well. So this one says quick apply, which maybe it's even quicker. I don't know what the difference between just apply and quick apply is. Question from Kira. If you have a resume uploaded, can employers see them regardless if you apply? Rachel, do you know the answer to this one?
I would say yes. I think once it's uploaded to your profile, like technically, if your profile is public, the employer could most likely just, do a search for students that have an interest in, let's say, like journalism part-time internships. So they should be able to see it, but I would still encourage you to submit the application so they know that you're highly interested in that position, because they may let's say they don't contact as many students from UMass just for that specific role, you don't want to miss out on the opportunity. So we always say, tailor your resume to that specific position and actually submit it. But you'll still want to make sure it is uploaded to your profile.
Yep, exactly. And so you can have a private profile, but once you have it ready to go, you have everything on there, there's really no reason to keep it private, because like we've mentioned, employers can find you, but you do want to put that application in and make sure it's the resume that you want to send, and get it reviewed, right? You have all of us as your resources that can look over your resume, and just get that second set of eyes on it before you apply. That's what we do. That's what we're here to help with. And so that's something that you can do before you apply. Just say, I want to apply to this position. Here is the job posting from Handshake. Here's my resume. Does this look like it's tailored and a good resume for this role? And we can really help you align that to the position. So that's something to think about too. So I just clicked on a employer. And so I just wanted to show you that you can actually click on the employer itself and look a little bit more in depth to what they're about within Handshake. Here on the right, you can see you can follow them. So if I star, that means I'm following this employer, and I'm going to be updated if they have new positions that are posted. And again, the algorithms are going to know I like this kind of employer. Send me more of this type of employer. So you can see a little bit more about them. You can even see students who have worked there. So, you can even message other students on Handshake. That's like a whole other portion you can get into. I don't know if you all know LinkedIn. It's a great place to network, and Handshake is similar in that way, where you can reach out to students and say, hey, I'm thinking about, applying to Honeysuckle. I would love to hear your experience there as an intern, right? And so you can really get that insider information from other students. As well as you can see their email, phone, their website, and look more into them. Facebook, LinkedIn, there's so much information on here, and doing that little extra steps of figuring out what is this employer about for you to see if you really want to work for them. But then also, if you do follow through those steps of applying, they're going to want to know that you know who they are and that you've done that research. So you can do a lot of that in Handshake, and then you can take it a step further and you can go to their website as well. Also, I just wanted to point out this little relevance tab here. And so you can order the searches that are coming up by relevance, by the application deadline, or by the date posted. So if you want, application deadlines that are coming up soon, you might put that as relevance. New ones that have just been posted, you could put that as relevant. So that's just another thing. And you can see when they're new, they say fresh, because that means they've been posted recently. And so if you want to be one of the first applicants for certain positions, you can look for that. And so that's just another little feature. Any questions on searching for jobs, searching for internships? I know there's a lot of filters and little tags that you can do, but the more you play around with it, the more you'll get familiar with it, and really make it work for you. No questions? Okay, I'm going to keep going through. So next we'll go to the events tab. So again, that's right at the top left-hand corner. And this is where you can find events that are happening. So this could be employer sessions, like Liberty Mutual is having a Women in Technology Summit coming up at the end of June. Or this could be events from actual places on campus. So we put on events, right? So we'll do events like this in Handshake, or how to prepare for a career fair or a workshop on resumes. So you can find events that people on campus put on, that employers put on. And so it's a really great way to get that professional development, to learn skills, and to see what's happening. And so Handshake is used by not only SBS, it's used by all the different colleges, I think all of the colleges, yeah, on campus. So you'll see like different colleges will have different things. Again, you can always filter, let's say I just put SBS. I don't think there's anything up there right now because it's summer, but you can always filter it out here too. You can filter the timing, and there'll be a lot more that come up, once we're in the fall semester. And then, like I mentioned, there will be the career fair on Handshake this fall. So I don't know if you want to mention a little bit about that, Rachel, because I know you're going to go into it a lot more later in the week.
Yeah, if you can just click on the career tab, please, or career fair tab. So that's where you would go ahead and actually find all of the active fairs for the fall. So ours is under drafting mode right now. So what that means is I just have to publish it, and then you will be able to see it just like the rest of these here. But we do host the nonprofit social impact fair, and that'll be in mid-October. And all of these fairs are actually still virtual this fall, and they are hosted, as Odessa mentioned, on Handshake. So what you would do is, and we'll go through this later, you would just click on the fair and you can see the employers that are attending. And by you actually going ahead and registering to meet with an employer, that signs you up for the fair. So you don't actually have to do a whole separate registration. So usually when you attend an event on Handshake, they make you register for it. So just by scheduling a meeting with an employer does secure your spot. And I know the question came up before about, posting your resume on your profile. Can employers see it? Yes. So if you do, let's say you want to meet with Liberty Mutual that's coming to this fair, you schedule to meet with a Liberty Mutual recruiter. That recruiter is going to actively search through your Handshake profile. They're going to see if it's completed, if you have your professional headshot on your profile, if you have your most up-to-date resume, and perhaps you link your LinkedIn account on there as well. So that's just something to think about that you can be preparing for over the summer. But we will get more into career fairs later on in the week.
Awesome, thank you. We're really excited to have them in Handshake this fall. And did anyone attend any career fairs in the past or this past year? Take that as a no. That's totally fine. I think you were all probably at the point where you're maybe thinking about your first one to attend. I know they can probably feel intimidating, but I will say people have loved the virtual format because it's a little bit less intimidating. You get that undivided attention with employers during their sessions. You get to be in the comfort of your own home or your dorm room or in the library. And so there's a lot of advantages to the virtual fairs. Okay, so yeah, events you can register. So you don't have to register for the fairs, but for, let's say, a regular session, the registration is often right in Handshake. And when you register, it will also show you what other students are going. Like, oh, my friend from my econ class is going. Awesome. Like, I definitely want to attend as well. So definitely looking for that. And you can also save it if you're like, I'm unsure, maybe I want to think about it. You can save it so that you can go back to it, or you can click register. And maybe I shouldn't register for that, but yeah, so you can register, save it, and just look through the different events that are happening. And it's a great way, when employers come and have info sessions or there's workshop, it's just a really great way to get in front of employers, to find out that insider information that you might not otherwise get without attending one of those sessions. And kind of just put yourself in the best position if you're really interested in certain or opportunities or organizations. So it's probably underutilized. So you guys knowing this information will be really great to just always check back and see what events are happening. Oh, I have a little bit of extra time this week. Let's see what's happening on Handshake events. And yeah, okay, so we did events, we did workshops. Okay, so next I'm going to go to the Career Center tab. So as you can see, there's a lot of different things you can do in this one site. But like I said, I will send you out a deck that walks through it specifically as well. So if you're just having questions or don't remember everything I say today, that's totally fine. You'll have that to look through. So Career Center tab is right here on the right upper corner. You can also see Messages tab. So that's actually where employers would message you or other students would message you. So even though I'm a fake student, I even get things from employers because I'm in as like a sociology major with different credentials. So it really does happen. Employers really do message you.
Yeah, I get those too. And I see like an employer on there that messaged you from Elliott Community Human Services. So they attended our spring fair. So she was probably reaching out through the message feature to contact Odessa about, hey, would you be interested in meeting with me one-on-one for like a 10-minute virtual meeting, and that would take place during the career fair. So definitely make sure that you're looking through any messages you may receive, because that's how a lot of employers do reach out to our students, is through the messaging feature.
Yeah, which is really cool that you can get those. And then also you can message us. Let's say if you have a career appointment and you have to reschedule or you want to add a note, you can message us through Handshake as well, which is really nice. You don't have to send like a separate email or anything. Okay, so Career Center tab. It's going to bring us back to this home page. And I go down to the left, you'll see appointments. So this is where you'd actually make an appointment with one of us, right? So you would schedule a new appointment. We got a question. Can some of the messages you receive from employers in Handshake be fake? Do you want to go, Rachel?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So something that we're actively working on and Handshake headquarters is like filtering which employers or flagging them, like if they may be an employer of concern. But if you ever do receive a message and you feel like it's not authentic, please reach out to us and let us know, because we're trying to do our best to filter out any employers that it could be like a job scam or something. But I would say use your intuition, and I feel like a lot of students do have a good sense of, okay, this sounds like too good to be true, right? Or maybe I'll reach out to my career advisor and just kind of see if they've worked with this employer before. So that's something to keep in mind. If you ever do receive a message and you're like, I don't know if this is real or not, or I just want to get a second set of eyes on it, please reach out to us and we'll do our best to try and reach out to that employer to make sure they're legitimate. But great question there.
Yeah, great question and well said. As Rachel said, like we really do try to vet every employer, every posting, either our career center or the other career centers on campus. Actually have to approve every job that's going up. But of course, sometimes people get through. So yeah, just letting us know is great, because we will be like, all right, you're banned from Handshake if it's sketchy or if for any reason. Even if the opportunity doesn't feel fruitful for students to do, we'll take them off, because we want you to learn from your internships, to have a good experience. So if we're hearing students come back after doing an internship and they didn't get a full good experience, then we'll, not have them keep posting, because we really want to make sure that everything within our site is something that you could actually take advantage of and learn from and get a good experience from. But yeah, definitely use your discernment and just flag us if you're like, this feels off, this feels a little off, because we'll be on top of it for sure. Awesome. So with making an appointment, you're going to see College of Social and Behavioral Sciences. If any of you are double majors, so maybe you're psych and soc, but psych is your primary major, you actually won't be able to make an appointment through Handshake through SBS, which means, you'll have like your psych career center, but not SBS. But that doesn't mean you can't make an appointment with us. You can always email us and we can do it on our end. But if you're all just primary SBS majors, then you'll be able to see this just fine. Then you will choose an appointment type. So some people get a little tripped up here. Don't overthink it too much. Have an idea of what you want to go into there with. But if you're just like, I don't know, I just need to talk to someone, I don't know what I'm doing, I don't know what I want to do, that's also fine. So with that, I usually say just put general career exploration. as your category, and we can kind of talk through what are your interests, what might you want to learn, and what skills do you want to develop. And I love having those conversations. But also we do a lot of more specific things too. So maybe you're just getting started with your resume or cover letter, or maybe you've done it before, but you have a new one you want us to look over. You can click on the advanced resume cover letter. Maybe you need help looking for jobs, internships, co-ops. We have those categories. Networking, that's something that we can talk to you all about. So how to effectively network, in person soon, but also, for this last year, it's been mostly virtual through LinkedIn, social media, through workshops and conferences. So that's really great. Interview coaching. So before you go on an interview, if you want someone to talk through how you should prepare, we even do mock interviews. So we can ask you questions like you're in an actual interview, so you can feel really confident before you go into that actual interview. And then we have some other categories like graduate school. SBS in DC is actually one of our signature internship programs in DC, and we're going to be going over that later in the week as well. So there's a lot of cool things you can take advantage of within SBS. So yeah, then you just click on one of these and you'll see different time slots and who has openings. And then you can click whoever you want to have an appointment with. You can see here, I come up, Christina comes up. Christina is also someone who helps with appointments on our team. She's amazing. But really everyone on our team is super great, knowledgeable, and friendly. So you really can't go wrong with who you meet with. Some people meet with all of us, and some people just choose one person and keep meeting with the same person. And it's really up to you of how you do it. And so you can see the different days and time slots. You can even do it like a week in advance. If like next week, I want to do it after I've kind of done my own research. And you can only do one appointment at a time, but you can do as many appointments as you want. So once you do one, you can immediately make another one. And we do have students who, every week we meet with them because they're working on their career and development every week. And that's also a little tip that I would give you all. You're still, in that phase of getting used to just college in general, but then also starting to think about how you can put yourself in the best position to get these internships and jobs. And it can be overwhelming, right? Like this is a lot of information. There's a lot of things to think about. But really, if you're taking, a certain amount of time each week, I usually like to say, if you take an hour each week, that's 1 hour a week that you're spending on your career development. So that could be writing a resume, writing a cover letter, looking through Handshake, meeting with a career counselor, and just do one thing each week to be building up to that, then you're going to be in such a good position as you're looking for those internships you really want and those jobs you really want after college. So it might seem overwhelming like that, but really breaking it down to those smaller goals and kind of like the SMART goals that we talked about yesterday, if you were in yesterday's session, that can really help make it manageable, and you don't have to do it all at once, when you're about to look for a full-time job. Okay, any questions on this, making appointments? No? Okay, well, I encourage you to make one. That can be kind of like unofficial homework. Try to make one this summer. We do work all summer, so we do have appointments throughout the summer, as well as, of course, the fall, spring semesters. And then one thing I just wanted to point out, because I get a lot of questions on this as well, is if you ever want to do an internship for credit. So, and you can do an internship for credit, even if it's a paid internship or if it's an unpaid. I know there's sometimes confusion about that. This is where you would go to input that internship and move it along and get it in front of the right people to approve it for those credits. It's right here where it says experiences. And so you would request an experience, and then you would fill out all the information about your internship. So when you get to this point, you want to already have the internship secured. And one other thing that you do need to do an internship for credit is a faculty sponsor. So a faculty sponsor is someone that's going to sponsor your internship, the academic portion of your internship, which means they're just going to ensure that it's something that relates to your academics. And usually what that looks like is like a 1 or 2 page paper that you do by the end of your internship to just show that it aligns with your academic goals. And so that could be a faculty that you pick, that you have a relationship with through courses that you've taken, or maybe you've been a research assistant or something like that. But if you ever are unsure and don't have someone in mind, you can always reach out to your academic advisor. And sometimes departments have specific people that they can ask to be your sponsor as well. And of course, you can always email us, if you have questions about this, if you decide to do that. But I always like to point that out because it's kind of hidden and it's not called internship, so it can be a little bit confusing.
I also included on that resource list that we sent out on Friday. It has like the video that one of our student interns actually created was a tutorial on how to fill out the internship experience on Handshake. So we highly encourage you to watch that. And then, like, of course, as Odessa mentioned, if you have any specific questions, it is a question we get quite often, like during the semester. So feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions on that process.
Awesome. I'm going to stop sharing this. So now if you all are able to open your Handshake browser, I think for a couple of minutes, it might be good if we all jump into Handshake. And let's see, let me share my screen. So like I said, I kind of walk you through every little portion that I went through today on here. So don't worry if, you're like, wait, I don't remember that one. We can send this out to you. But if you can open a browser and open your Handshake and update your career interests. So I think a lot of you said that you had been in there already. So it's probably what you put in when you first logged onto Handshake. Maybe that was your first semester freshman year, maybe that was more recently, but going to your career interest tab, which again is in the top right corner, and open that up and just see if it matches what you're currently looking for. And we'll give you a few minutes to do that. And let us know if you have any questions too in the chat, or unmute yourself. How's that going for people? Want to give me like a thumbs up, or once you feel like you've completed what you want to? Awesome. Cool. All right, so then I just had some tips for success, which I think I went over all these already, but like I said, upload a resume that helps fill in your profile. You can add your LinkedIn to your profile as well. If you have a LinkedIn. If you don't have a LinkedIn, that's something you can meet with us about in a career appointment. Again, you can save those jobs and internship searches. You can favorite things, so use those functions. It will help the algorithm know what you're looking for. And you can really see, you know, those aligned opportunities. And check out other, you know, profiles of other students and get that inspiration of, oh, what does a good profile look like? There's a lot of awesome ones from UMass, but also from all different schools. And message people, right? If there's an opportunity you really want and they've done it, usually people want to help out. People like to help other people. So that's something that you can take advantage of as well. All right, any questions on everything we went over or anything at all? Okay, well, if there's no questions now, yeah, be sure to follow us on our social media accounts, and you can always email us if questions come up later. And then tomorrow's session is going to be really good. It's going to be all about resumes and cover letters, ton of information that's going to be really helpful. It's also going to be really interactive, and you're going to get to practice to see what a really great standout resume and cover letter looks like. So definitely attend that if that's something that you're looking to improve. Yeah, anything else, Rachel, for today?
No, I think that was great. Thank you so much for showing us Handshake. And I'm really looking forward to the session tomorrow too, because I always feel like I can always learn something new each time that I go through this workshop. So we hope that you join us again tomorrow.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Have a good rest of your day.